I'm going to take a second to talk to you about underdogs.
Eagles fans everywhere, this is for
Yeah.
you.
Fly Eagles flying on the team. Touchdown, touchdown. Time to get Jalen this ring. You don't really want to start a thing. This a bird gang nation, baby. It's a Philly thing. Hater, and you looking like you type trash. I'm just here cool on Philly the podcast. And we can call a man dog or watch Miles score off the handoff. Rest of the division, your man saw Jackson like Sean, hunting like Randall. Season here, early time to do them in. Your boy Philly Fresco. Thanks for tuning in.
What is going on, you guys? It's your boy Joe Castro, aka Philly Fresco, and it is Philly the podcast. And we are back, man. It's been about a week. It's been about a week since I've actually went live solo. We did the round table like 2 days ago. Obviously, Marcus and you know, Marv and Brandon have been doing their own thing, but we are back. And I'm not alone. I am not alone. I was able to meet up with Dave Spadaro earlier this morning. We had a nice little conversation. If you guys are members, you get that conversation early. So if you are a member, it's only $1 a month, and I think it's a worthy investment. You get to see those kind of interviews live. So we did get to talk to him today. Before we get into that, look, I just want to get some things off my chest. First of all, thank you to everybody. If you're new to the channel, we have had a nice little influx of subscribers over the past couple of days, and we're like 50 something away from 3K. So if you aren't already, if you're watching this, please do hit that subscribe button. Also, if you are watching this, please do hit that like. It goes a long way, man. I really do appreciate everything. But look, the Philadelphia Eagles are back, man. The Philadelphia Eagles are back. I know technically the weekend's tomorrow for the NFL week because there's a game tonight. I could care less about tonight's game if I'm being 100% honest. I know that there's in some weird world a way that one of these teams get knocked out of the playoff hunt, but I doubt that happens, right? So at the end of the day, we're looking at that what's in front of the Philadelphia Eagles, and what is in front of the Philadelphia Eagles is a team with no name. That's what we're looking at right now. A team with no name, and maybe a team with no quarterback, possibly a team with no Terry McLaurin. They're kind of beat up right now, you know what I'm saying? So I really do feel like the Philadelphia Eagles have everything in front of them. I'm very, very excited for this ending, this whether it's going to be a good one or a bad one, it's going to be dramatic. That's all we really know right now. It's going to be a dramatic ending. I'm very excited. I think that we can go out there, especially coming off of this bye. We're looking at guys like Jordan Howard. We're looking at guys like Miles Sanders getting some rest. Even Fletcher Cox's defensive line finally gets some rest. They went almost like what is it now? 14, maybe 13 weeks in a row straight playing football. That's not really that normal. Obviously, with this extra game, our bye got kind of pushed back, but look, it might be the best timing. It might have came at the best time. We needed to get healthy, and we have not heard anything about Brandon Brooks just yet. There has been a rumor that he's supposedly going to be coming back pretty soon, but that's just a rumor, and it wasn't really from anyone that I necessarily would quote unquote trust yet. So we haven't heard anything about him, but we are getting healthy at the right time. Jalen Hurts getting that rest, last week against the Jets, being able to still win that game. He has the rest. He had 2 weeks off now, 2 weeks of being able to kind of process the game from a different angle. I'm looking forward to see the growth. That's what we need to see. Look, you can have bad games in the NFL. It's about how you bounce back. So we'll see what happens, man. But I think that this is a team, and this is a schedule that kind of helps us. This is a schedule that I think these are all winnable games. We've said this before. I think Daniel Jones, something happened to his neck or something, so we might not even be playing against their quarterback. It doesn't look like we're going to get Dak, because if they, win maybe 2 more games, they'll probably just go ahead and clinch the NFC East and most likely try to, rest some of their starters going into the playoffs. So you look at that game, you might not see Dak. You're looking at, the Washington football team, and you're looking at Taylor Heineke, maybe, right? He's a little bit beat up. So you're looking at that team, and you're not really going against the A1 quarterback. So I say that to say this: you're not going against any good quarterbacks realistically, unless Dak plays in that last game. So this should be kind of an easy road, quote unquote, to get there. But at the end of the day, it's up to our players to execute the play calls, up to our play callers to call the right plays. I mean, look, if we don't make the playoffs, I won't be sitting here depressed and I can't believe we didn't. But I think that it's very viable that we can go ahead and make a nice little push. And I know a lot of people say, I don't want to say a lot of people, but some people like to say that they would rather have the higher draft pick. I am not one of those people. I will tell you that right now. I am not one of those people. I will never be one of those people. You go out there and you try to win games. I don't care. And we have 3 first-round picks. You know, we're looking at the Dolphins still around top 15 type pick, so that's a good thing. You're looking at us, obviously we're probably in the middle of the round, maybe 15 to 20, depending on what happens, obviously, if we make the playoffs. And then you look at the Colts. We'll see what happens with them. There's still so many wild cards going on with this NFL draft right now. The Tankathon doesn't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen, so we'll see what happens. But I'm excited. I think that this is a nice little path. This is a nice little path. The Eagles can get a little bit of confidence, a little bit of, real experience under them. Not to give away too much, but Dave Spadaro kind of said it perfectly when we were talking, and he kind of said the playoffs start this Sunday. So it's going to be meaningful football in December. That's always what you want to see from a football team, right? You always want these games to somehow count, whether it's because you're looking for seeding as a number 1 seed or just trying to make the playoffs. So it's a transitional team that's winning some games. Can't be too mad. So we'll get into a couple of comments, and then I'll get into the interview, because I do want to get into the interview. Shout out to everybody in here. Like I said, man, please do hit that like, hit that subscribe if you are new. We are only like 50. I think 58 is the number I want to say it is. Obviously, that could have changed, but we're 58 away from 3K, y'all. So let's get there. Shout out to Carlos said first, like always. What's going on, Backyard Bird Podcast? What's going on? Carlos said, don't worry, we shut up those Washington fans yesterday. I don't know if they have many. I know like 3 of them, so they didn't say much. But we're gonna get some content creators on here from Washington, so we'll have fun. What's going on, Midwest Eagles fan? So y'all should have a good chance to beat. We should have had a good chance no matter what. I don't care. Washington about to get beat up again, and we're not gonna let them. Right, look, the Cowboys beat them, but they only beat them by 7. You guys did everything in your power to try and give that game away. What's going on, O'Dizzle? At least Dak did. Dak, he did all right. Dak did all right. He made some mistakes, though. Yeah, I agree. Dak did look bad. Hopefully he gets it together for the Giants. Your D bailed you out. Yeah, I mean, hey, sometimes it be like that. Go Birds, let's run the table. What's going on, Big Moose? I think that it's set up for us to, we can do it, man. We can definitely do it. We've won some games that I don't think that we were, I hate saying this, but, games that you're not supposed to win, and we've lost some games that you're not supposed to lose. So anything can happen. Anything can happen at this point. Vikings play Bears, Rams, Packers. Yeah, so, I mean, look, we're looking at Vikings, and right now, I think Washington might be like right above us in the playoff, as I think we're 9th. They might be like 8th or have that 7th spot. I'm not 100% sure. I would have to double check, but last time I checked, I think they have that 7th spot. So I mean, it looks like if we're 2nd in our division, we might end up getting that 7th spot. Maybe who knows? Maybe we get a 6th spot if we win out. Who knows? Who really knows what's going to happen? Because I sure as heck don't. There's like a bunch of teams that are 6 and 7 right now. Dallas struggling offensively. Yeah, I always think that they'll get it together. They have all their weapons back. They haven't had that group for a while. They haven't had it for a string of games, I mean to say. Micah Parsons is a stud. Yeah, I was trying to tell people about Micah Parsons, man. Jamar Chase is, I think everybody kind of figured that was going to happen. Mac Jones, to me, was a surprise. I know there's people that said that, they liked him pre-draft. I didn't think he was going to be that great. Especially as good as he is right now. So I'm not mad at it. Hey, I will always say when I'm wrong. Carlos says, no, Smith, he's having a good rookie year. I love Devontae Smith. What's going on, Snapback Jug? What's going on, Ryan Rowe? Let me see. Make sure I shot every. What's going on, Nina? What's going on, Richie? Once we hit 3K, I'm wearing that red button up. I got 3 of them. So I'm interchanging the red button ups that whole 3K week. Going to be a week-long celebration just for you, Richie. But he says membership's only 99 cents. PPTP, do you provide stock options too? I might have to get into the NFT game. My girl keeps telling me to get into the NFTs. So yeah, maybe I will have to do that. Nina Austin says it's coming down to the wire. This is what teams are made on, man. If we go into next year, after this year, looking at it as a rebuild, as a transitional year, as how we called it, if you make the playoffs in a transitional rebuilding year, I mean, that's pretty That's solid, and that says something about your coaching staff, right? You know, Doug Peterson came in here and was able to kind of instill a winning culture right away, and we might be seeing that with Nick Sirianni. Maybe Jonathan Gannon isn't the long-term answer. Maybe he is. Maybe everything starts to click after a week of being able to self-scout, because I'm assuming that's what Nick Sirianni and his coaching staff did all last week, is just watch film on themselves and try to figure out what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong. So now we talk a lot about, I keep saying Jamar Chase, got me thinking about him. But we keep talking about Jalen Hurts. We keep talking about all these players that need to come out and shine. But realistically, now I'm looking at the coaching staff right now. Like, what did you do in the off week to prepare yourself? What did you do in this off week, in this bye week, to be able to get your team in the best position to win? Right? That's the question I'm going to be asking after this Washington game, because football is football, man. Football is football. Jalen Hurts gets his first division win this Sunday. He better. I need to see it, man. I need to see it. Let's go, Jalen. Dak is regressing, or he's hurt. I would lean more to the hurt. I don't know. I didn't watch the full game. I'm not going to sit here and say I analyzed Dak Prescott, because I don't. After I watch maybe a half, I start itching and stuff. I start getting, breaking out in hives and stuff. So I try not to watch too much of it, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. What's going on, Eagles Realist? How was that 11-hour work shift, or was it 12? It was 11. It was a solid 11. It was terrible. It was horrible, but yeah. One day, who knows? You know what I'm saying? One day, who knows? Maybe I'll be doing this full time. What's going on, Kenzo? What's going on, Janosco? I hope I said that right. Ginosco. What's going on, Mark G? Can we talk about Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase catch at the end of the day? 49ers hurts. Yeah, look, hey, Rager got to catch them, man. Ginger Griffith, I think that's a bot. If y'all want to kick whatever that is out, y'all could. Joe Burrow was having a buns game until late. They were down 20-6. Joe, they won up on us. Yeah, the Washington football team, the WTF team. Just checked. Washington is still in second. Top quarterback drafted last year, 4 interceptions. Send Minshew back to the Jags. That's something that's kind of interesting, right? That's what's kind of interesting is a lot of people are now saying that, there's interest in trading for Gardner Minshew. And I said this in the beginning of the year. We can probably trade him for way more than, well, not way more, but definitely more than we got him for. Because we got him, for, I want to say it was a 6th, maybe a 7th round pick. You get a 5th out of him. That's, we've done this before. We've done this before with our backup. So I think that's a win-win situation, especially if Jalen Hurts is your guy. What's going on, Eagle Slayer? Say, Castro, let's get to work, my guy. You already know. Hit me up. Don't forget to like the video. Likes are free. Exactly. Talk to him, Kenzo. I appreciate that. Let me make sure what's going on, Philly girl? What's going on? Good morning. Mark G says, let's hope the coaching staff tried to figure out what they did right and wrong and end the wrong last 4 games. Facts. That's what we got to, that's what we have to, that's what I'm looking for. I don't want to say that's what we all have to look for. Obviously, you want to look at these players and see how they're performing. But for me, this week is all about how you're prepared, for how prepared you are for this game. So I'm hoping that we see some good coaching this week from our team, especially against the team that's kind of beat up right now, physically and mentally. That was a tough game for them to lose. So, you got to come out here and take advantage of this, man. You got to come out here and take advantage of this. What's going on, Birdman951? Let me make sure. All right, so I think I got everybody. So we are going to get into this interview, man. So we were able to, like I said, I was able to meet up with Dave Spadaro earlier this morning, get some time with him. It's about a 20-minute interview. It's a good interview in my opinion. Obviously, I'm never going to say it's a terrible one. But let's just get into it, but I'm not going to talk too much. What's going on, you guys? It's your boy Joe Castro, aka Philly Fresco, and it is Philly the podcast. And as you guys can see today, we have a very special guest, the man who needs no introduction, but I'll try either way. Eagles team reporter Dave Spadaro. Dave, how's it going, man? Thank you so much for your time.
It's good, Joe. Good bye week. Ready to see what happens these final 4 games. It's going to be fun.
Definitely. I think we all needed this bye week, players included, reporters included, need a little breather, right? It was a crazy season, but let's talk about that. Obviously we're getting out of our bye week now. We're going right back into the fight. Yeah, obviously you report on the team, but I know you're a diehard fan as well. Just in your opinion, what have you seen? How are you feeling so far about this season?
Well, from an Eagles standpoint, I mean, I feel like the Eagles are playing meaningful games in December, and early in the season, it didn't look like that might be the case. You really a team struggling at 2-5, tons of mistakes, lots of penalties, questions about the coach and the quarterback, and I really, as somebody who's been around the team for a long time, has been with the team for a long time, watching coaches go through their first experience. Philly isn't easy. It's a lot of intensity with the media, the fans. The expectations are very high, and I think Nick Sirianni has come through it really well. And to be 6-7, look, I'm not sitting here saying, hey, everybody's happy that the Eagles are 6-7, but the fact that they are in the game, they've won 4 of their last 6 games. Really tough loss to the Giants. That one hurts, but they have an opportunity in these next 4 games to see what they're all about. The tempo changes in December. The games are much more intense, much more meaningful, is as odd as that is to say. And so we'll find out about Nick even more, and we'll find out about Jalen Hurts, and we'll find out about some of these young players. And I feel like the Eagles, again, Nick, the way he changed his offensive approach, really impressive. The way the locker room stayed together, very impressive. I think that the Eagles have acquitted themselves, nicely in the fact that the way they've turned the season around. Now like everybody out there, I want to see if this team can make the playoffs. I mean, the fact that we're even talking about the playoffs, it's kind of amazing.
Definitely. And you kind of touched on it a little bit, talking about the major turnaround, because like you said, 4 of 6 games is nothing to scoff at, especially when you have basically a rookie whole team, really. Your best player at wide receiver is a rookie. Your quarterback is just, now reaching 16 games, rookie head coaches and everything.
Right. The left side of your offensive line is a kid who did
exactly
football a few years ago. Now he's a stud, and your left guard should be a stud. So it's really, I mean, the draft class has produced a lot. Some veterans have really stepped up. I mean, again, we shall see. But honestly, Joe, like, one of my thoughts was, first-year head coach, you want to see the team improving toward the end of the year, and then you want to go and you want to kill it in the draft in the spring. And so that's kind of where we are right now.
Definitely. And like you said, you touched on it with the major change. We've seen a lot of different Eagles teams, right? We've seen the early on, they tried something, didn't really work, they changed it up. From your perspective, in your opinion, in that jumble, in the different Eagles that we've seen, is there a team that you look at, or a philosophy, I should say, maybe from the front office and coaching staff, that you look at that might be able to, carry us into this playoff run?
Well, I mean, you mean as far as like what their philosophy is right now? I mean, I think what they've done is they've leaned on being really physical, and to me, that's what football is all about. And I know that everybody gets enamored with wide receivers and running backs, but your team is built from the beginning at the quarterback position and then the lines of scrimmage. And so the Eagles, with that offensive line, and it's not only for 2021 here. I mean, they've got the makings of an offensive line as they continue to address it, and they will, to be really great for years to come. So that's encouraging. Now, look, the defensive side, they've been up and down. They've gotten better here. They've certainly played much better these last several weeks. But again, it starts at the line of scrimmage. So I think what I'm leaning on and what this team is leaning on is being physical and smashing people in the mouth. And that's just kind of it's weird the way the NFL has gone from this, like, way back when, let's run the ball, and then it's spread the field out, throw the ball. And now you're seeing kind of both sides coming together a little bit. Now, in my opinion, the best teams still throw the ball a lot. The Green Bay Packers, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Kansas City Chiefs. Those are the LA. Those are your teams that at this point look to be like the Super Bowl contending teams. But the fact that you can, so ultimately the Eagles need to be better throwing the football. But the fact that you can lean on a strong running game, a reliable running game, I mean, that's really valuable stuff.
Definitely. And another thing I wanted to touch on, kind of going back to the previous years and looking at this year, is our injuries. I mean, this year we have had injuries. Don't get me wrong. We haven't, escaped them totally. But for the past couple of years, it's seemed like entire position groups have gone down. And I just kind of wanted to ask you, being in the locker room, being there, is there a root of that? Is this new, medical staff just been able to change some things up? What can you really point to that we've been able to stay so healthy?
Yeah, I mean, I probably would say a little bit of luck. I mean, I think Ted Rath has done a really great job of with the strength and conditioning department and understanding when to rest. We watched training camp and we couldn't believe how short the practices were. I mean, just it was like, wow, Andy Reid used to practice 2.5 hours a day, and it was like crazy. It was physical, and so the Eagles have kind of changed that philosophy, and they've gone a little bit lighter. They've given players rest when they've needed rest late in the season, but coaches have done that before. So I mean, I kind of chalk it up to luck in a lot of cases, and let's hope that luck continues. But saying that, Jordan Howard's coming off a knee injury. Miles Sanders has a sprained ankle. Jalen Hurts has a sprained ankle. It just hasn't been like the pulled hamstrings as much, knocking on wood.
Yeah.
The quad pulls, things like that. So the soft tissue injuries, I think that's where you've seen the big difference. But they still lost Brandon Brooks for the season. They still lost, Brandon Graham for the season. Brandon Brooks, we don't know if he's going to come back. Um, there's still been some significant injuries on this football team, but honestly, like I just kind of say it's kind of the luck of the season.
Yeah, anyway, I guess we'll all just have to knock on some wood real quick.
Yeah, man.
Every time I bring up injuries, people always attack me in the comments like, if something happens, Joe, we're coming back to you. But now going back to, coming out of the bye, Nick Sirianni, I think Nick Sirianni has silenced a lot of his critics over the past couple of weeks, has called some really good games, in my opinion. But what do you think his message is going to be to this team coming out of the bye, going into a lot of divisional games? This is not just going into games that are for a playoff spot, but you're going against the division. What do you think his messaging is going to be to this team?
Yeah, I don't think it'll change. I mean, I really think that Nick understands, and that's the sign of a promising young head coach, that you don't change the message necessarily. Because one thing I learned from Andy Reid is that players want consistency every single day. It's consistent, consistent, consistent. Maybe boring. Andy's press conferences got really boring, but he won a lot of games. And players appreciate the fact that they know what's coming. And so I think Nick's message is going to be, hey, guys, here we are. We got the whole season in front of us right now. I hope you had a good bye week. I mean, I know that's what he said today. I hope you had a good bye week. And let's just keep getting better little by little. Let's stay very much focused. Let's work on our fundamentals and let's play together and let's be accountable for each other. It's those 5 pillars of his program. It's competition, it's accountability, it's doing playing fundamentally sound football. It's trusting the people next to you. I mean, these are the things that Nick has talked about every single day. And look, when the Eagles were losing, he was still saying the same thing. Double down on what you know to be true. And that's what he's done. So I don't expect that to change at all.
Definitely. And I do want to bring up, I know I'm a couple weeks late on this, but obviously there was a huge trade in Philadelphia losing Zach Ertz. I don't necessarily want to talk about Zach Ertz so much as I want to talk about Dallas Goedert. It's a big shift for him, and I just kind of want to ask, in the locker room, has his role changed? Is he asked to be more of a leader and kind of take on what Zach Ertz was, or is it kind of just business as usual for him?
In the tight ends room, it has changed because he is the veteran with, Jack Stoll there. Richard Rodgers is there, but he's on the practice squad with Tyree Jackson there. So Dallas has to be the veteran leader, and I think he's accepted that responsibility. I give him a lot of credit for being patient all these years. Obviously, as a football player, you see the skills. I mean, he's a monster, as they say, with the ball in his hands, and he's really, really physical and difficult to tackle. He's very George Kittle-ish. So, but yeah, as somebody who's he's got the big paycheck now, and with that comes responsibility, as well as his time in that tight end room with a bunch of really young players.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm excited for our tight end room, if I'm being 100% honest. I mean,
I agree.
We had Jack Stoll on the show, and the kid is just he's so much fun to just talk to. Jack Stoll is a lot of fun to talk to. When he's been called upon, he's done a couple things. He's blocked very well, had a couple catches. Tyree, I'm hearing great things about, so I can't wait to see him more implemented in the offense.
Yeah, he needs to get stronger. I mean, Tyree's got he's learning out there how physical the game is. But I agree with you. I'm really excited about his ability, how much he's improved in a very short period of time. And I think Jack Stoll's the same way. And I guarantee the Eagles are going to keep adding because, the tight end position is so valuable in the NFL right now. And I think they're playing from a position of strength with a bunch of draft picks and already with a good young room there.
Definitely. And we've talked, we had you on earlier in the offseason, and we kind of talked about some of these young guys that we got in the draft. And I kind of want to go back to that. Has there been anyone that's kind of jumped out to you, whether it be on the field or in the locker room or on the practice field? Any rookies that have really jumped out at you this year so far?
I would say, truthfully, I didn't expect Landon Dickerson to kind of even be out there. Like, I kind of thought the Eagles would. And I think that the idea, look, if they had stayed healthy, if Brandon Brooks had stayed healthy, and Isaac Seumalo had stayed healthy, we wouldn't be hearing about Landon Dickerson. And a little bit nervous on my part, that, hey, he had an ACL last November. Why rush him back? Get him healthy, get that knee off. But now that he's out there, you see why the Eagles loved him so much. He is a dominating player. And I think Devontae Smith is a terrific wide receiver, and he's got big-time games in front of him for the rest of his career. And I think Milton Williams eventually here will be a very, very productive player. He's played good snaps for the Eagles. And Kenny Gainwell, same way. Zach McPherson has made a lot of improvement. It's a good draft class so far. But I think Dickerson is, at this point, look, I expected Devontae to be a great player. I saw enough of him at Alabama. I saw enough of him in the summer. We didn't watch Landon. He wasn't out there in the summer. He got activated. He's out, 2 games into the season. He's on the field after only a few practices. So to see what he's doing, teamed up with Jordan Mailata on the left side, it is a difference-making left side of the offensive line. And I think Landon Dickerson has a chance to be really, really special.
Yeah, I think Eagles fans are a little spoiled when it comes to offensive line, especially on that left side. Going from Jason Peters now to Jordan Mailata, it's seeming like it's a smooth transition. You can even go further back. We've had a lot of good left tackles in this, a lot of good offensive line.
In your era, young fella, okay? But I've been around long enough before Trey Thomas came to town, and the Eagles blew draft picks on Bernard Williams and Lester Holmes and Antone Davis and all these guys, and threw money at Ron Solt, and never built the offensive line from the Dick Vermeil era to and through Buddy Ryan, not until Andy Reid got here. I mean, certainly Ray Rhodes drafted Trey Thomas, and that was the start of something. But since then, the organization spent a lot of resources on the offensive line, and now we know why, because it's so important.
Yeah, hopefully we don't turn the hands back. I'll stay spoiled. I'll take it. I'm not mad at that.
That's right.
Now talking, to stay in the trenches a little bit. Look, in Philadelphia, we expect our defensive line to be the best thing that's ever happened. It's been, they haven't done terrible. It hasn't been a great season, a bad season, but we have a lot of older guys there. We have some younger guys there. How are your thoughts about this defensive line? Do you think this is something that they're going to try and get better at, or solidify, maybe is a better word, in the off season?
Well, my focus is really on the season. So I think that the rest of this past bye week here for Fletch and for Hargrave and for Kerrigan, who hasn't really been the impact player that I think the Eagles probably hoped he would be, and certainly there's some time to do that down the stretch here. I think he'll come back fresh. I think that will really, really help them. And Josh Sweat gets totally healthy. The loss of Brandon Graham was huge. It hasn't been as dominating as I thought. I thought the D-line really had a chance to be dominating. So we'll see how they do the Final Four game. Will they address the defensive line in the offseason? I mean, they always will. And when you're going to have 4 or 5 really high draft picks, you're going to have an opportunity to do so. If you choose to do so, I mean, I think we'd all agree that the defense is an area, look, that you're always going to try to address. They've come on better. They've taken the football away. They've kept teams down in yards per play. The point total has been relatively low. They're not going to face great quarterbacks here unless Dak Prescott plays in the final game of the regular season, which I don't think he will, because I think the Cowboys will have clinched the NFC East by then and a home game in the first round of the playoffs. So, the Eagles defense will have a chance to really play well. Hopefully this team gets to the playoffs. And hopefully at that time you see the Eagles defense and the offense against prime teams. And that's when we're really going to get a good gauge of how far this defense has come and where this defense needs to get to. But, for sure, you want impact players on all three levels of that defense, and I think there's room to add those.
Definitely, definitely. And I want to slide back to the coaching staff a little bit because going down this stretch, I think that they're going to play a major part. And I know that we've seen the press conferences, we've seen what happens on the field, obviously, but we're not there. We're not, as you are in the locker room and at practices and stuff. What kind of impression have they made on not just the players, but the building? Are these guys, somebody that comes in and just kind of takes over the building? What kind of personality, what impact have they had so far on the building?
I mean, even from the very first day, it's a really young coaching staff. First of all, they've always had the word that everybody's always used is energy. So they've always had a ton of energy, and they've taken time to really teach. And so you've seen. And so how do I grade a good coaching staff? I'll take, for example, two players at linebacker, Deion Taylor and T.J. Edwards. Now these are two players who have gotten much better through the course of the season, and so I credit Nick Relis, the very young, 26 years old linebackers coach. He's done a great job getting those players better. I look in the defensive secondary and I see Marcus Epps making plays, and I see Zach McPherson getting better. So I credit those coaches. And I see the defensive line, Milton Williams getting better. Josh Sweat has made plays and gotten better. I see the team, Teron Jackson has made some plays and taken some good snaps. So I go, Tracy Rocker, good job. I see the tight ends, as we talked about, getting better. So I credit, Jason Michael, the tight ends coach. So they've made an impression because they've been able to relate to the players. They've got a tremendous amount of energy. They're very, very optimistic, and they work super hard. So when a team gets better, you credit the coaching staff. When a team is not getting better, then you have to go, okay, well, something's going on here. We'll find the root of this. So again, the Eagles have gotten better through the course of the season, and I think that's encouraging for the coaching staff.
Definitely. Now let's hop a little bit into this game. I want to ask a couple questions going into this Washington game. Obviously a big game. I mean, nobody can deny that they're a little bit banged up. But what do you think the Eagles need to do coming out of this bye to be able to win this game against the Washington football team?
Yeah, I think that what we saw when the Cowboys beat the Washington football team on Sunday in the first half, 24-0 lead Dallas. I mean, look, Dallas tried to give it away late, but Washington couldn't run the football. They were in a bunch of third and long situations. Taylor Heineke had, I think, 29 passing yards. So you've got to win. The D line really has to win against an offensive line from Washington that's banged up, that probably won't have its center. I think they're on their third string center now. One of their guards was hurt on Sunday. We'll see if he plays against the Eagles. Logan Thomas, their red zone threat at tight end, is banged up. Terry McLaurin, their star wide receiver, is in concussion protocol. Don't know if he'll be ready to go on Sunday. So I think this is a game the defense cannot let the Washington football team run it with Antonio Gibson. Can't give Heineke, who I expect to play, even though he's got a banged up knee, can't give him time to just sit back in the pocket. Get after him. His mobility is going to be limited. And then look, on the offensive side, don't turn the football over. I mean, that has been the key, one of the two or three keys to the offense. And we saw how much it meant in the Giants game. 4 turnovers, and the Eagles still had a chance to win the game at the goal line. So run the football effectively, win at the line of scrimmage, great ball security, and on defense, get after Heineke, put him in a lot of third and long situations. With all that said, I think Ron Rivera's done a great job with Washington. I think they're a scrappy, intense, physical team. And I think it's going to be a great game on Sunday. I think it's going to be a playoff atmosphere. I'm really excited to see how the Eagles respond to that kind of play. I mean, it's a playoff game. Can't afford to lose this game on Sunday.
Definitely. Yeah, this is a huge game. Like you said, to see how not just Jalen Hurts, but the whole team, bounces back. Obviously, we just had that win against the Jets, but I don't think anybody's really even counting that right now. So many people have just kind of poo-pooed that. But I'm excited to see it. Now, the last question I want to ask you, since it is, about to be the holiday season, about to be Christmas, let me ask you this. What, in your opinion, would be a Christmas miracle for the Philadelphia Eagles in this season?
A miracle?
Miracle, or maybe a gift. Maybe we'll say a gift.
Look, a gift would be to get to the playoffs. I think it would be really a testament to a locker room sticking together, a coaching staff working continuously throughout the season to get players improved. I would love to see Jalen Hurts down the stretch and see what he can do in these moments where it's going to get colder. It's going to be harder to throw the football. And I love the running game. but you still have to throw the football to score points in the NFL. The Eagles ran for 200 plus yards against the Giants, and they scored 7 points. The turnovers killed them. So you got to make big plays in the pass game. But I think getting to the postseason and having that experience and seeing how far they can go would be a great gift for this football team. And look, the playoffs start on Sunday, and it's 4 games against the NFC East. It's just like it was in 2019. The Eagles did a nice job there, winning those games down the stretch, getting to the playoffs, and then Carson Wentz got hurt, and that was the end of that. So let's see what the Eagles can do here starting Sunday with this playoff atmosphere, and let's see if they can have that nice present under the tree in mid-January, and that would be a playoff game.
That would be beautiful. That would definitely be beautiful. I think all of Philadelphia agrees with you there. So, Dave, I appreciate your time as always. This is like the 3rd or 4th time coming on, so you're family now,
pleasure.
right? I'm gonna have to send you a Christmas card.
No need. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Enjoy every step of the way. Enjoy the journey. It's been a really interesting season, a defining season for the Eagles, and I'm really encouraged sitting here. I know 6 and 7 is not where anybody wants to be, but when it was 2 and 5, it was getting a little bit scary there, a little precarious. The Eagles have turned it around pretty nicely here. Let's see what they do down the stretch.
Definitely. So like I said, I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody that's tuned in. Be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe. Go check. I mean, I don't got to tell you to go check out Philadelphia Eagles media. You guys all do. Come on now. But other than that, y'all know what it is. It is Fly Eagles Fly, and we are out of here. Peace.
Peace. Go Birds.
Hey. Shout out to Dave Spadaro. That was always a great time having Dave Spadaro on here. He's a amazing guy on and off the camera, man. Obviously very insightful about our Eagles. So listen, man, I see Kara Poole in here. What's going on, Kara? She says, are we getting Howard back? From what I know, he should be a go for that. Look at that. I'm just dropping bars on you guys. But no, he should be a go for Sunday, so I'm looking forward to that. Looks like we're going to be getting some artillery back. We're going to get some good guys back. So I'm excited. Mark G said Dave's a good guy helping a young buck out. Yeah, we've had him on a couple times. He's a dope dude, man. All those guys are really cool, man. All those guys are really, really cool. They've been really nice to come on and you know, spend some time and just let us know what's going on. What's going on, Brandon? What's going on, Drew Johnson? But yeah, so I mean, look, we'll close it out like this because I don't want to get too deep into the actual game because tomorrow we're going to probably have some Washington football team creators on, and throughout the week we'll be talking about it. Today I just kind of wanted to come back and let you guys know that I'm still alive. We're okay. Everything is okay. You know what I'm saying? I know I haven't went live in a while, and I apologize for that. But if I'm going to come back, especially after 5 weeks, I had to make sure, you know what I'm saying? I got to make sure that I come through with some friends. So again, very, very big shout out to Dave Spadaro. I appreciate his time so much. Carapool says, I like when you get Fran. I love some gameplay breakdowns. Yeah, Fran was the man. Fran, that was like, I've had a lot of great interviews, but I was so surprised that he even responded to me when I asked him, if I'm being 100% honest. I get surprised with all these guys, if I'm being real. I'm still just a fan at the end of the day. What's the word on Washington football team? Who's hurt for the next game? It's seeming like a lot. Like I said, I'm not one of those. On my show, I don't like to really talk about the other team because I don't know as much. So what I like to do is I like to get people that obviously do know their team and let them tell it. So it's, like I said, tomorrow we're going to have some content creators on. I'll announce it tomorrow. But and we'll go through it. We'll see what's really going on. What's the real feel out there in Washington? And we'll go through it. Ramon, I just don't like giving my side of the story because I don't know the Washington football team like that, and I don't want to give you false hopes or false information. But I am hearing that, you know, there is going to be some injuries. I'm hearing Heineke will play, but he's expected to play, but apparently his knee's like a little bit banged up. So we'll see what the truth is behind that. Word up, broski. That's just a blessing, man. A blessing, bro. We only go up from here. Exactly. Listen, man, we a family, and we gonna make sure we get there together. What I know, Logan Thomas is out for the year. That's a big loss for them. I think some of their offensive linemen are a little bit banged up. I think Antonio Gibson is a little bit banged up. So, and McLaurin is in concussion protocol. Shout out to Eagle Slayer. That is true. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on over there. I said I wasn't gonna go into their injuries, and I just did, but we'll see how serious it is and what it can affect them, because I know that this previous game against Dallas, they didn't have two of their defensive linemen who were their backups anyways, so they had to go to the backups of the backups. Shout out to Shaka because he's part of, Penn State, so shout out to him. But it's tough being on your third defensive line setting, so we'll see what happens. Shout out to Brian saying, like the show. I appreciate that. Like it and subscribe, y'all. Like and subscribe, y'all. You already know. Smallwood on Washington football team. Yeah, so we had to see Smallwood out there. We had to see, what's his name out there as well? Corey Clement out there for the Cowboys. So having someone else to break down the team just makes sense. Yeah, I like to, because I like to learn too. I like to go into the game kind of knowing, you know what I'm saying, what I'm looking for. Yo, Joe, thoughts on Ryan Kerrigan taking... we've had Ryan Kerrigan on the show, so shout out to Ryan Kerrigan. I was hoping for a little bit more. I think he was hoping for a little bit more. I think that's fair to say. But at the same time, the off the field presence is probably big as well. So I'm not out on the field, but I'm sure that he's been a guy that young guys can go talk to and get a little bit of a feel for the game. So I don't know what the price is on that. I don't know what the value price wise is on that, but I'm hoping at least, because like I said, I'm not out there on the field, but I'm hoping and I'm assuming that his value goes beyond what his stats are right now. And hopefully maybe against Washington football team, he has a little bit of a resurgence and goes out there and plays with a different type of energy. So, shout out to Unspoken Word saying you definitely on the come up, really enjoying your content. I appreciate that. Mark G says, I started Ricky Seals-Jones on my fantasy team because Hawk was down and the dude is straight trash at tight end. That's funny. That's funny as hell. Yeah, man, it's a tough season, and we were talking about this with Dave, and I'm going to probably end it pretty soon, but we were talking about this with Dave. We've been kind of lucky when it comes to injuries, last year was, and the year prior to that, and the year prior to that was tough with injuries, man, just full, groups going down. So knock on wood, obviously I'm knocking on wood, but hopefully that continues, man. Hopefully that continues. He's just wasting this, but I don't know. I feel like having a veteran like that on your team is valuable. At the end of the day, do you think our D-line coach needs to be replaced? I don't think so. It's tough to say it's his fault. It's a scheme issue, I feel like, and he's part of that scheme, but I don't know if you're not getting rid of Geenan, I don't think Tracy Rocker should be a scapegoat. If you think that our defense played poorly, I understand that we're not getting necessarily the pass rush numbers that we were the previous couple years, but I don't think he's the only issue if you're looking at that team and saying we got to let go of someone. I think if he goes, it'll be a string of things. I don't think he's the first guy to just go. Also, thoughts on special teams coach praising Rager. You got to do it at the end of the day. As a coach, you have to be strict, you have to be stern, but you also don't want to call out a player that might be, and I'm not saying he is, that might be dealing with some self-doubt anyways. You know what I'm saying? He might be doubting himself. Why go out there in the media and be like, yeah, he's trash? I'm not going to sit here and say that, he doesn't believe that. Michael Clay, I don't think has any real reason to lie. He probably does believe he can play that position well. We've seen him do it. So, at the end of the day, that's what a coach is. Like Kara says, it said so eloquently. Why would a coach be like, you suck? Yeah, that's hilarious. He's a voice, but that's about, and we're not paying him to be it's not like we're paying him millions upon millions of dollars. We're paying like $2 million or something like that, right? I don't think he's getting paid that much money. So I said it kind of jokingly this offseason. I forget who I said it to, but I was like, could he just be a voice on the sideline? Could he just be that guy that kind of gets, Milton Williams in the right mindset? Maybe gets, whoever it may be, a Josh Sweat or a Derek Barnett. He gets in their ear a little bit. But we'll see what happens. We need that end from Michigan. I would not be mad at that. Why can't BG55 be the D-line coach while he injured? I know, right? He probably does. I'll be crass for you, Joe. I got you. I appreciate that. But yeah, look, I think that there's a lot to look forward to in this ending of the year. I think that ending this year, we have a lot of games that are winnable. I put quotes around it because I feel like I've said that a lot and then we lose the game. But I think these games are winnable. I think these are teams that we should go out there and beat. Look, especially if you look at the offense, if you look at the quarterback situation for the teams we got coming up. Outside of the Cowboys, if they start their starters, what quarterback really jumps off the paper to you? Because I don't think we'll be playing Daniel Jones. I'm pretty sure he's out for the year. You look at these teams, Washington, are you really still afraid of Tyler Heineke, especially if he's not going to have Terry McLaurin, especially if Antonio Gibson is beat up a little bit, if that offensive line is beat up? Are you really afraid of it? You look at the Giants, like I said, I don't think we're playing Daniel Jones, and even if we do, I think I see us winning that next game. I don't see them sweeping us. And then if the Cowboys are sitting their guys, we're going against their backup. So it might just kind of work out that we end up winning this wild card spot, and we have a little bit of playoff experience under us. So I think there's nothing but things to look forward to. I'm excited. I hope your guys excited. You know, you got to be optimistic. This is it. This is the last 4 games. I've been analytical over the first, 13 now, right? I want to say it's 13. Been analytical over those. Now I'm just going to be a fan, and I'm going to sit back. We're still analyze, obviously, but I'm going to sit back and hope my team can get it together. I think they can. I think that they will. You guys let me know what you think. And like I said, tomorrow we will actually start Washington week. Today was just kind of me coming back and saying hi, guys. You know, I missed you guys. So I had to come back and say hi, and I appreciate all the love. I will have a video coming out later on. But other than that, y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it's going to be. It's Fly Eagles Fly. And we are out here. Peace!
Everywhere. This is for you.
Fly Eagles fly on the team. Touchdown. Time to get Jalen this ring. You don't really want to start a thing. This a bird gang nation, baby. It's a Philly thing. Hater, and you looking like you type trash. I'm just here calling on Philly the podcast. And we can call a man dog or watch Miles score off the handoff. Rest of the division, your man saw Jackson like Sean, hunting like Randall. Season here, early time to do 'em in. Your boy Philly Fresco. Thanks for tuning